So tomorrow I'm selling my cows. It's probably the first time that this farm won't have milked cows for 50 years. It's always down to, you have to have scale and get more efficient, but that can only go so far. We seem to get these wetter summers. That nearly ruined me. In 2011, we had 3 wet summers in a row and it was very expensive. We've then had, I think it was 2 years ago when we had the snow in March. Ireland had to import silage that year.
I think the media have demonised to a certain extent farmers. I think it's very tough on farmers. There are 137,000 farming households in the country. They have to have a living. They could be producing all our food needs. In fact, Teagasc did a report a number of years ago where they said that Ireland could actually produce enough food for 30 million people. I mean, Holland, which is the size of Leinster, has 16 million people and can produce 20 times more than we produce. It's a matter of looking outside the box and seeing how can we do it better, more environmentally friendly, and give the farmer a decent profit and a decent way of life. My real calling was business and getting involved in setting up small companies, building them up and selling them on. And when I was lucky enough to sell my business, I decided to buy a farm south of Arklow. And I decided to plant trees in it. I planted the trees, and it was interesting the reaction of local farmers around from me that they said, you know, you're planting good land with trees, you know, you should be using it for dairy and for poultry and things like that. So I started talking to different people around, local farmers, and explained where my ideas were coming from. And they started listening to me in the things I was saying. And so it sort of developed from there.
There's people out there with the knowledge. Getting it across through the media is hard. In fairness, I think that's where Richard actually, he has that way about him that he's able to get his point across. He's also a great way about him of bringing you along on the journey. You mightn't agree with him at the start, but in fairness to him, he has a way of explaining something, and he does that very well.
When I started living here and I realised that the isolation that actually people have now more and more in the countryside, I realised that rural isolation is a huge problem, and particularly for older people. I think, you know, like 2/3 of the population are living outside of the cities, and yet nobody's really fighting for them or shouting for them.
There's a lack of the 3 Ps now: the priest, the pub, and the postman. And those 3 people, or those 3, like the pub, the publican, the priest, and the postman, were the very essence of being that contact person for people in rural areas. So that really important piece of contact has now gone. It's very sad to see this happening, and we do need somebody who's going to revive that communication and that community. Richard has the energy of a 20-year-old, but he also has the compassion and passion for things that he truly believes in. And I think he will be absolutely brilliant with this, especially dealing with the older people, especially dealing with the rural communities. I think that is his forte.
It's all about getting people of the same mindset together to pull together. It's about getting those communities back. One person can never change the world, but everyone collectively can make a difference. And I believe that if you stand up and you express your ideas that other people believe in, you can get people to work together. What I want to do is to try and influence. I want to try and show there is another way, and using my business acumen, I can see lots of ways that bringing people together, that we can actually make a difference into an area that fundamentally needs change, and needs change to help people improve their lives.